Hey guys, hope you're well. My name is Rob. Welcome to Kinetic Rugby League. In this video, I'll be giving you my Super League Round 21 predictions. I'll leave a recap of last week up on the screen for you now. 3 out of 6 is shocking. I was correct with Leigh, Wigan and Saints, incorrect with Warrington, Leeds and Catalans. Catalans? What the hell? And Salford. I love you too. Thanks for that. So on the season, that's 87 out of 120, which gives me a percentage of 72.5% on the season. Still working to 80%. Maybe we'll get there. We'll see. But yeah, pretty poor week. I'm going to include the 7 games this week. So there's obviously tomorrow is Leigh versus Wigan. I will include that in my normal stuff. And yeah, we'll crack on with the first game. So kicking things off, we have the Wigan Warriors taking on the Leigh Leopards. That is tomorrow. Wigan sit in 2nd, Leigh are in 8th. For recent form, Wigan have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. Leigh have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Wigan in 1st, Leigh in 4th. So Field is now back in that Wigan team, potentially fully fit after getting some minutes under his belt last week. For Leigh, they can be a little bit on and off both sides of the ball, attack and defence, but have been a lot more consistent on both sides as well. As I mentioned in my power rankings video, that they do feel a little bit more reliable on both sides now. So when I get to Wigan and Leigh for their games later on this week, I'll kind of reference those games as though this game wasn't played, because it's impossible for me to really pre-predict the nuance going forward. It's going to be a weird one, but I think Wigan still are the stronger team right now. Leigh can certainly put a lot of pressure on them. I think they will. They could take this to the very end of the game. They really, really could. I'm focused mainly on Leigh's defensive side. So even with Bevan French still missing, I believe he'll be missing this week for both games. I'm not entirely sure, but I can't remember how long Bevan French has got, to be honest. But even with him out, whether we can want to go with Hampshire and Farman, maybe they'll swap them for each game. Leigh's defence is going to be the most important thing here, because Wigan might have gotten their act together in terms of attack. They might know what team they want to put together, how they want to play. They might have figured that out, especially from the second half against Huddersfield. So if Leigh can continue to be strong in defence, Leigh do have a really tricky attacking side where Wigan can be exploited. They really can be exploited. We saw it from Hull. We saw it from Warrington. We saw it a little bit from Huddersfield, but not so much. But Leigh, as long as their defence is on point, they could really push Wigan to the edge here. But I do think Wigan are just the better team right now. So we're going to go with Wigan Warriors 26, Leigh Leopards 18. Next up, we have St Helens versus Salford Red Devils. Starting with league position, Saints sit in 5th, Salford are in 4th. For recent form, Saints have won 1 in the last 5 Super League games, Salford have won 3. And for power rankings, I have Saints in 7th, Salford in 5th. So right now, Saints are still without Lomax and Wellesby. Lomax has 2 more weeks, I want to say. And for Salford, I think, given the misses from Saints, they should be able to control this game. That's the main thing. I don't know if Lewis Dodd's going to control the game well, or even Mbai. Clark can't really do it from number 9. I don't think any of the kids that they put at fullback or in the halves are really going to do it either. So for me, based on the confidence the Saints might have, maybe they picked up a lot of confidence from the win against Hull, but confidence might still be down for Saints. There's still going to be some holes in there if some of the kids play, especially in the back line. The players on the edges for Salford have been excellent this season, and they could really exploit those positions like Warrington did a few weeks back onto Vaughan, who was playing right centre for Saints. Salford could attack those areas against inexperienced players and then just completely run the game with Mark Sneed. And players like Ryan Briley, if Mark Sneed's not on it, Ryan Briley could run the game if need be as well. But I think Salford right now, because they're also within earshot of like a league leaders shield at the moment as well, and they have been, as we can tell, 3 out of 5 compared to 1 out of 5 more consistent over the past few months, I do feel like Salford are the favourites in this one. Like, they should be the favourites. They can control this game. They've got the individuals to compete. I still think that there's definitely a competitive effort from Saints in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Saints got it done, but I do think that Salford should be in the driver's seat for this one, should run the game, and absolutely demolish them through the kick chases. pin them back, win the field position battle, have tons of possession, repeat sets over and over and over again, wear Saints down. I think, as I mentioned in my power rankings video, Saints might feel a little bit cornered, so might really fight back this week. But I do think Salford are in the better position right now. So I'm going to go with St Helens 20, Salford Red Devils 24. Next up, we have Huddersfield Giants taking on Catalans Dragons, starting with league position. Huddersfield are in 9th, Catalans are in 6th. For recent form, Huddersfield have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games. Catalans have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have the Giants in 10th and the Dragons in 6th. So right now for Huddersfield, there might be a new lease of life in that team. And I mentioned for power rankings in that video that the Giants might feel a little bit different. There's less pressure about trying to make the top 6. And they just might try and do a few things a little bit differently. And there's a blueprint that the Broncos have laid for them on how to beat this team. I mean, they're not the only team to beat the Catalan Dragons this season, but could the Dragons be so low on confidence? And with the Giants trying to turn things around a bit, they'll take a bit of pride in that first half performance against Wigan. Could Huddersfield be a bit of an odd one this week? Genuinely, maybe. The Catalans, this week, are they going to rebound from that effort, or are they going to be so low on confidence? For me, it can go either way. Their attack is so inconsistent. The defence is so inconsistent. I don't know what we're going to get from them. I do feel like leaning towards Catalans just because objectively this season they just have been the better team. That's been clear. But we even saw from the Challenge Cup that Huddersfield can do something against Catalans. But I do think both these teams are pretty meh at the moment. But given that Catalans have been the better team, and I think for the most part just have been slightly better over the last 5 weeks or so, especially in terms of form as well. 3 wins compared to 1. I want to go with Catalans, but I don't feel that confident. Although they could batter them because they're so inconsistent, like they can be great in attack, but I don't know. Both these teams are weird, but Catalans are slightly better. So I'm going to go with Huddersfield Giants 12, Catalans Dragons 22. Next up, we have Hull Kingston Rovers taking on the Castleford Tigers, starting with league position. Hull KR sit in 1st, Castleford sit in 10th. For recent form, Hull KR have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games, Castleford have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Hull KR in 2nd, Castleford in 9th. So, Hull KR last week, absolutely solid defence, battered Warrington through the middle, they just had complete control over that game. Their defence, for me, was excellent. And they're really going to need that against a Castleford team that's really started to turn things on over the past month and a half on the attacking side. These guys only played a few weeks ago. Was it like 5 weeks? Castleford really took them to the edge, and Hull KR had to win it in Golden Point. It didn't feel like Hull KR were really up for the fight that day. Castleford made it really, really tricky, but we've seen from the game against Warrington that they really competed and they bullied through the middle. So if they can do that again against Castleford, I think they'll just completely take them out of the game and they won't really be able to compete. Can they keep up the defensive effort again? They can keep up the defensive effort, but possibly Castleford being a different team could find a few more points. I don't think it'd be significant numbers of points. I do think Hull KR will be... I feel that they should be comfortable in this game, but you never know with players like Miller and Hoy. Like, they could find gaps, and there's a few things that Castleford have really been doing well on the attacking side. It's just defensively I'm more worried for Castleford. I think they could put up some points, but defensively I don't know whether they'd be able to stop this creativity of Hull KR right now. So can they batter Castleford through the middle? Probably. Can they create space on the edges? Probably, especially with Niall Evalds making those sweeping runs. Mikey Lewis had a great game against Warrington. He's had a fantastic season in general. And I just think as long as Hull KR don't make a ton of mistakes, they kick well and chase well, it will take Castleford out of the game and they won't be able to compete on some of like the nuances throughout the game. So I think Hull KR should be fine, but I said that like last time out and Castleford made it tricky, but Hull KR should be fine. So I'm going to go with Hull Kingston Rovers 28, Castleford Tigers 12. Next up, we have the Leeds Rhinos taking on Wigan Warriors. Now, this is a bit of a weird one, as Wigan will have already played a game prior to this, so some of this information may be a little bit different. But Leeds are currently in 7th, Wigan are in 2nd. For recent form, Leeds have won 2, Wigan have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Leeds in 8th, Wigan in 1st. Those things might change, we'll see. For Leeds, looks like there's a bit of a new lease of life for them. Slightly better in attack maybe, slightly better in defence maybe. At least different. And different doesn't always mean better, but could be trickier for some teams if they use Rowan Smith's Leeds as a reference for how they're going to play. Do they have enough intel on Brad Arthur's Leeds to know how they're going to play going forwards? Wigan, I think, regardless of the League game, unless they're absolutely abysmal, should still be fine competing in this one. I think Leeds are a team that can make it tricky. And in terms of personnel, fatigue, like how many changes are Wigan going to make? Is it going to be a drastic change between the two games? Is fatigue going to be a huge factor? So could Leeds be really fresh, ready to go? If Wigan play the exact same team, could Leigh set the blueprint for them? This is going to be a bit of a weird one. I do think, just generally speaking, as though the League game wasn't there, Wigan should be fine in this one, because I think on the defensive side, Leeds still have a lot of work to do. But I think just having that League game in there just throws a bit of a question into it, and this really suits Leeds. Slightly different, week of preparation for Wigan, maybe less preparation as well going into this game. So it favours Leeds a little bit more. I don't think it's enough to say that Leeds are going to win. So I think Wigan is still significantly the better team, but I think it bridges the gap ever so slightly and just brings them in on a few little nuanced areas of the game. I think Leeds could really capitalise on a lot of stuff. Definitely on fatigue, preparation, and possibly personnel in the game. But I do think Wigan is slightly stronger at the moment. So I'm going to go with Leeds Rhinos 16, Wigan Warriors 26. Next up, we have the Leigh Leopards taking on Hull FC. Starting with league position, Leigh currently sits in 8th. Hull FC sits in 11th. Leigh have won 4. Hull have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Leigh in 4th, Hull FC in 12th. So Leigh are the same as Wigan in a weird spot. And again, we'll have to see. So in terms of, again, preparation, personnel, fatigue, all that good stuff, potentially bridges the gap a little bit for Hull FC, but I don't think I think there's a bigger difference between Leigh and Hull FC than there is Leeds and Wigan. So I don't think it'll have as much of an effect, because I think Leigh are just a significantly better team in that regard. So I think Leigh should be able to control the game in attack. I think Lachlan will do fine in that area. Hull FC defensively is still really poor, so they should be able to open them up a lot. On the attacking side for Hull FC, I don't think they'll really contribute too much. They'll have some good moments. I think there's a few individuals in there that have done some good stuff. They'll find points. Leigh, I could kind of see a world where they hold Hull FC to 0, but I don't think they're going to. I think there's just been enough of a revival on the attacking side of Hull FC to put up at least some points this week. But I think, unless there are key injuries against Wigan for Leigh, or they're just somehow so far off the mark and have back-to-back really bad performances, they lose a bunch of confidence or something, Leigh should be fine, dominating, controlling the game. But yeah, maybe Hull FC could just pick up a few points, but I don't think they're really going to challenge in this one. So I'm going to go with Leigh Leopards 30, Hull FC 12. Finally, for this round, we have the London Broncos taking on Warrington Wolves. Starting with league position, London sit in 12th, Warrington are in 3rd. For recent form, London have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games, Warrington have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games, and for power rankings, I have London in 11th, Warrington in 3rd. So for London, right now, it's just about continuing that defensive resilience. They need to keep that going. So a couple things for them. Number one, they had a lesson against Hull KR a few weeks ago. Then they learn a hell of a lot, and take that into Catalans and get it done. Hold them to 10 points, which is excellent. In a few attacking fixtures as well, so obviously 12 points against Catalan. It's not a ridiculous number of points, but like I've been saying, as long as they keep that going, they have one good defensive performance, and that'll be enough. They put up 20 against Castleford, so if they can still find a couple tries, they probably learned a lot against Hull KR, put that into practice against Catalans, and Hull KR showed them kind of the way forward against Warrington. If you can shut down George Williams, you shut down Matt Duffy, then you've got an excellent chance in this one. So there's a sneaky possibility in there for London. Warrington have played London twice this season. Was it back-to-back games around the Challenge Cup round 6? Something like it might have been back-to-back. But Warrington demolished them both times. I think Warrington's ability to adapt might help them to escape that kind of worry that Catalans had, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think London will still put up a couple tries, because they are finding ways to do it and attack the better, and Warrington have their weaknesses, especially on the right edge defensively. And still working out a few things with Aaron Lind up on the left centre, so he might be a target as well, we'll have to see. So I think there are points in there for London, but I think Warrington's ability to adapt has been pretty good this season, and the team will really want to get back on it straight away with a statement win. I don't think it'll be a ridiculous scoreline, but I think it'll be fairly comfortable. So I'm going to go with London Broncos 12, Warrington Wolves 32. So to recap my predictions for this round, in the game in hand round for Wigan versus Leigh, I'm taking Wigan. And then for the round 21 games, I'm taking Salford, Catalans, Hull KR, Wigan, Leigh and Warrington. So that's going to be it. If you've got your own predictions, please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. It really does help to get the video out there to more people. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Rugby League content. But that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.